Hello and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. I've decided to record another game from, well, the official, I guess, opening day, when the most games occurred in 1970. Since I just played a Red Sox replay with Fergie Jenkins on the hill, I decided to play the Cubs version of Fergie Jenkins. Fergie Jenkins, the future Hall of Famer here. And I was looking at his stats and saw some really interesting incredible actual stats for Jenkins with the Cubs, especially. He had 6 straight seasons winning 20 games or more for the Cubs, and from 1967 to 1972. In 1970, this season, winning 22 and losing 16, so 22 and 16. And those weren't even his best seasons. His best season was in 74, arguably with the Texas Rangers, in which he won 25 games, at least as far as wins go. He did win 24 and 71 with the Cubs. So some incredible stretch of seasons there, winning over 100 games in 120 games in 6 seasons. Definitely solidifying his Hall of Fame career there. Fortunately, he wasn't as good with the Red Sox, just going 12 and 11 and 10 and 10 in his 2 seasons in 76 and 77 with them. But anyway, let's get this game underway here. So it's going to be Chicago Cubs facing off against the Philadelphia Phillies. And this is a game from April 7th of 1970. Opening day for both these teams. So let's look at the lineup for the visiting Chicago Cubs. I believe this is Veterans Stadium here in Cleveland we're going to be pitching at. In Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. Take a quick look here. Nope, sorry, Connie Mack Stadium. They were still in Connie Mack Stadium. All right, so Don Kessinger is the shortstop batting first for the Cubs. Batting second is Glenn Beckhart. The outfielder, Billy Williams, will hit third. Cleanup is the third baseman, Ron Santo. Williams is in left field. Batting fifth, the Hall of Famer Ernie Banks, hitting fifth. Johnny Callison is in right field, batting sixth. Jim Hickman, the first baseman, hits seventh. J.C. Martin is behind the plate, hitting eighth. And Fergie Jenkins on the hill, batting ninth. So Chris Short on the hill for the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies would win this game 2-0. And Chris Short had a losing record in 1970. He had a record of 9-16 with a 4.30 earned run average. Definitely on the tail end of his career, as he was 32 in 1970. He did have a couple of good seasons. Actually, quite a few good seasons. He won 20 games in 1966 and 17 and 18 in 64 and 65. Also, his last winning season was in 68, in which he won 19 games in the last 13. So, a pretty good pitcher for a few years. All right, so Short is a lefty with a C rating, and Y and G are his letters there. All right, and somebody had asked me too about how I switched the batter card in the lineups there. All you do is you just click on the baseball there, which I found out by accident. That's a nice little feature there. I kind of prefer it this way, as my eyesight naturally goes over here, and I like to look at the card. And it's easier for me to click on the right side, too, being the mouse being on the right side of the computer. Anyway, all right, so Don Kessinger steps into the box. He's got 337 on base percentage. So Short looks in for the sign. He has the windup in the pitch. And that is going to be... That's going to be a ground out to second. So 4-3 on the putout, out number 1. Glenn Beckhart up to the plate now. He is a fast runner. So Beckert with a 323 on base percentage. Short looks in for the sign. He has to wind up in the pitch. And that's going to be a base hit. So the first hit of the game for the Cubs. A 1-out base runner. He'll be held on first. Beckert with some speed. That'll bring up Billy Williams, 391 on base percentage. And that is going to be a ground out. So they'll go to first to retire Williams as Beckert moves in the scoring position now with 2 down. That'll bring up Ron Santo. Ron Santo, 369 on base percentage, 476 slugging. Here's the windup in the pitch, a chance for the Cubs to get on the board. And he will ground out to first to end the inning. So that'll bring up Fergie Jenkins, the future Hall of Famer. Jenkins, a righty with a B rating, X and Z, so those are good for strikeouts and double play minus there, so not as good as inducing the double plays. So the Philly lineup is as follows. Larry Bowa, the shortstop, will lead it off. He'll be followed by Denny Doyle, who would make it to the Red Sox eventually in 1977, by 77. So Denny Doyle, the future Red Sox, batting second and playing second. Batting third, the future Brewer, as I remember him, Larry Heisel, the center fielder. Darren Johnson is the first baseman, batting cleanup. Batting fifth, John Briggs, the right fielder. Tony Taylor, batting sixth and playing left field. Tim McCarver is now on the Phillies, moving from the Cardinals in his earlier days. Batting seventh behind the plate. Hitting eighth, Don Money, who I remember also on the A's and Brewers later on. He's now on the Phillies. Is your third baseman hitting eighth, and Chris Short on the hill bats ninth. So Jenkins on the hill. Bowa with a 277 on base percentage. Here's the windup in the pitch by Jenkins. And that's going to be a ground out to short for out number 1. So Denny Doyle up there now. Doyle with a 266 on base percentage. And that's going to be a base hit. So the first hit for the Phillies, a 1-out base runner. Doyle, an average speed runner. Doyle being held on first. Larry Heisel up to the plate now. Heisel with a 299 on base percentage. And it's going to be a ball on Heisel. Next pitch. 2 balls on Heisel. And 3 balls on Heisel. So 3-ball count on Heisel. And Jenkins comes back to get him for out number 2. So 2 outs with a runner on first for Darren Johnson. 1 ball on Johnson. And that'll be a pop out to short to end the inning. So each team with a base hit. And after 1, no score. Ernie Banks up to the plate now. The dangerous Ernie Banks. 313 on base percentage, 459 slugging percentage against Short. Banks steps into the box. Short delivers. And that'll be a walk. Ernie Banks with slow speed. So we will going to restrict him. So leadoff runner on for the Cubs. Here in the top of the second. Johnny Callison up to the plate now, lefty on lefty. Banks gets his lead, being held on, and he'll draw the walk. So Short getting a little wild here. First 2 runners on walks. Brings up Jim Hickman, the center fielder. Hickman a 419 on base percentage, 582 slugging. And we're going to restrict Banks. Okay. Alrighty. So nobody out. First 2 runners on for the Cubs via walks. Hickman steps into the box. Here's a windup in the pitch. And another walk. So, wow. So Short getting a little wild here. walk, the bases loaded. So McCarver will go up to the mound, talk to his pitcher, goes back behind the plate, try to settle him down. So then we have J.C. Martin with the bases loaded, nobody out. A golden opportunity for the Cubs to get on the board here. So here's the windup in the pitch. Cubs actually shut out in the actual game, 2-0. So let's see if they can get on the board early here. So here's the windup in the pitch. And it's going to be an error on the first baseman, Johnson. And that will allow a run to score. Bases remain loaded as Johnson reaches on the error by the first baseman. Fergie Jenkins with a chance to help his own cause here. Jenkins not a bad hitter himself. Here's the windup and the pitch. And he's going to hit into a double play. And it looks like they're going to go runner on first, is that runner on second to third. So it looks like the 1-2-3 double play will allow the 1-2-3 in the double play. Runner second to third. So they get the runner going home and they get the runner at first. So 2 outs now. Still 2 runners in scoring position for Kessinger. Kessinger switch hitter. He'll be bat righty against the lefty. Back to the top of the order here. And that looks like it's going to be a base hit. That'll score 2 runs, and the Cubs now put up a crooked number, and it's now 3-0 Chicago. Beckert up to the plate now. Beckert singled his first time up. And he will hit into a fielder's choice, 4-6. And it's 3-0 Chicago as we head to the bottom of the second. Jenkins now with a 3-run lead. He'll face Briggs, Taylor, and McCarver. Briggs 342 on base percentage, 434 slugging. Here's the pitch by Jenkins. Strikeout. Jenkins very tough once he gets the lead. Tony Taylor 374 on base percentage, 462 slugging. And the first two batters are retired and the ground out to short. So it'll be McCarver, the lefty, up to the plate now. McCarver 346 on base, 439 slugging. And he'll fly out to left. So the Phillies go in order in the second. It remains 3-0 Chicago as we head to the third. Short back out on the hill. Billy Williams, the lefty, up to the plate. Williams grounded out to second his first time up. And he'll ground out to third this time for out number 1. That'll bring up Ron Santos, the righty. Santos grounded out to first his first time up. And this time he hits it into the gap. That'll be a double. So 1-out double for Santo. Cubs looking to add to their 3-0 lead. Ernie Banks up there now. Walked and scored his first time up. And this time Short is able to get him. Strikes him out for a big out number 2. So that'll bring up the lefty, Johnny Callison. Walked his first time up. And he'll ground out to short to end the inning. So no further damage by the Cubs. And after 2.5, still 3-0 Chicago. So that brings up Money, Short, and Boa against Jenkins here in the bottom of the third. Money 361 on base percentage, 463 slugging. And he'll get a base hit. So it'll bring up the pitcher spot, Short. And I think Short is going to bunt. So Short will square around to bunt. Money gets his lead. Wheel play in effect. And he's got a foul strike. Bunt is still on. And that'll be a successful sacrifice as Money moves into scoring position with a 1 down for Larry Boa, the switch hitter. So Boa grounded out to short his first time up. Money gets his lead. Jenkins looks at the runner, kicks and delivers. That's going to be a base hit, and Money is thrown out at home trying to score. Boa will go to second on the throw. So remains 3-0 Chicago as Money gets a little aggressive there. Denny Doyle up to the plate now. Doyle singled his first time up. Oh, and Doyle's going to get a hold of one here. And that's going to be a double for Doyle. Denny Doyle double. DDD. And that will score the run there as Boa comes in, putting the Phillies on the board. So Heisel now. That could have been 2 if Money would have been a less aggressive there. However, he was aggressive. And Larry Heisel struck out his first time up to the plate now. He could tie it up with 1 swing of the bat. He has the windup in the pitch to Heisel. And that's going to be a walk. So it'll put runners on first and second. So Jenkins a little wild now. Brings up Darren Johnson. Johnson popped up to short his first time up. And he'll ground out back to Jenkins to retire the side. But the Phillies do get on the board. And it's 3-1 after 3 full. Short back out on the hill. He'll face the bottom third of the order, Hickman, Martin, and Jenkins. Hickman walked and scored his first time up. And he'll walk again. So Chris Short, pretty wild so far. He's issued 4 walks, striking out only 1. J.C. Martin reached on an error. But he got an RBI and came around to score a run. And that's a ground out to third. They'll go the short way, get the lead runner. So Martin at first now with Jenkins, the pitcher, up there now. Jenkins hit into a 1-2-3 double play his first time up. And he'll fly out to left for out number 2 as Martin stays put at first. Kessinger had an RBI single his last time up. 2-run single, sorry. 1 for 2 on the day. And he'll draw the walk. So 5 walks now for Short. Short pitched a complete game in the actual game. So there is some stirring, though, in the Philadelphia pen. When we find out who it is, we'll let you know. So Beckert up to the plate now. Runners on first and second. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the pitch by Short. And he'll fly out. And the Phillies, and the Cubs failed to add on to their 3-1 lead. So it looks like it's Bill Wilson and Barry Lersch are loosening up in the Phillies pen. All right, so it'll be Briggs, Taylor, and McCarver against Jenkins here in the 4th. Briggs struck out in his first at-bat. And he will ground out to second for out number 1. Tony Taylor up to the plate now. It's grounded out to short his first time up. And he grounds out to short again. So 2 up and 2 down in the Phillies' 4th. Tim McCarver flew out to left his first time up, and McCarver get a hold of one here. Ooh, and this could be extra bases, and this one looks like it's a no-doubter here. And that one is going to be a home run for Tim McCarver. So McCarver, with a solo home run, makes it a 3-2 game now. Jenkins had a mistake pitch there. He knew it as soon as he threw it. All right. All right. So 2 down now for Don Money. Money was thrown out his last when he reached down after his base hit. So Money up to the plate now. Phillies down by just 1 now. Here's the pitch. And he'll draw the walk. So tying run is on now for Chris Short. See if they let him hit here. I think they're going to let him hit. Still early on in the game. 3-2 game now. Seems to have settled down the last couple innings a little bit, despite giving up the walks. So Chris Short will stay in. Hit for himself. And he strikes out to end the inning. But the Phillies do get a run. And it's just a 3-2 game as we head to the 5th now. Short back on the hill facing the lefty Williams. Williams is grounded out twice. And he'll fly out to right for out number 1. Ron Santo up there now. He's 1 for 2 with a double. And he will ground out to short for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down in the Cubs' 5th. Short seems to have found new life and his control. So Ernie Banks 1 for 2 with 0 for 1 with a walk. Struck out his last time up. And it's a ball on Banks. And he'll ground out back to Short. So 1-2-3 inning for Short in the top of the 5th. And halfway through, it's Cubs 3, Phillies 2. Jenkins back on the hill for his 5th inning of work. He'll face top of the order, Bauer, Doyle, and Heisel. Phillies have scored single runs in the 3rd and 4th. Chicago scoring all 3 of their runs in the 2nd. So Bauer 1 for 2 with a single and a stolen base up to the plate now. And another base hit for for Bauer, his 2nd of the day. Brings up Denny Doyle, the lefty. I think Denny Doyle will just hit away. Still early on in the game. So here's the pitch to Doyle. And Doyle strikes out swinging. So 1 down now. Bauer still at first, being held on. Larry Heisel to the plate now. Struck out and walked. 0 for 1. And it's ball on Heisel. And he strikes out. So Jenkins gets a strikeout there. So Jenkins now with 5 Ks on the day. Bauer still at first with 2 down now. So it's up to Darren Johnson if the game is to continue. If the inning is to continue. So Johnson 0 for 2 on the day. And he draws a ball. Ball 2. Oh, and he gets a hold of one here. So mistake pitch there on the 2-0 count. And Johnson will deliver a 2-run shot, giving the Phillies the lead now 4-3. So the Phillies have come back from a 3-0 deficit to take the lead 4-3. That'll bring up Briggs. Briggs 0 for 2 on the day. Oh, and Briggs is going to get a hold of one here. And that's a no-doubter, so back-to-back homers off of Jenkins. That's a rarity. We'll put the Phillies on top now by 2, 5-3. So Jenkins rating downgraded now to a D. So there is action in the pen for the Cubbies. Phil Regan's going to get up and loosen up. All right, so Tony Taylor's grounded out to short his first 2 times up. And he'll ground out to second now to end the inning. But damage done as the Phillies put up a 3-spot on 2 home runs by Johnson and Briggs. And the Phillies take the lead now 5-3. So ahead to the top of the 6th. Short back out there. Now with a 2-run lead. Faces Callison. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. And draws the walk again. Oof. So tying run will come to the plate. Jim Hickman. Hickman's walked twice. And he'll ground into the 4-6-3 double play. So 2 outs now. The base is empty. That was a pitcher's best friend there for short. So Martin reached on the error, 0 for 2 on the day. And that'd be a strikeout for short. So we'll head to the home half of the 6th with the Phillies up by 2. Jenkins back out there, facing the bottom third of the order. McCarver money in short. McCarver homered his last time up. 1 for 2 on the day. Solo home run. And McCarver will get a hold of another one here. That'll be a double. So McCarver will be on second now with nobody out. A leadoff double. As there's stirring back in the pen. As Regan continues to warm up a little more feverishly now. So Don Money 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. And he will ground out as McCarver moves to third. All right, that'll bring up Chris Short, and he will hit for himself. So Short has had a sacrifice there and a strikeout. And Short will hit a ground ball to short. And he throw home, and it's not in time, though. Well, actually, is it in time? Yes, it is. I'm sorry. And the runner's thrown out at home. McCarver is off on contact and gets thrown out at home. So it remains a 2-run game, 5-3 Phillies. Jenkins looking to get out of this without any damage now. Boa up to the plate now. Boa 2 for 3 on the day, a pair of singles. And they get him to ground out. So we head to the 7th with the Cubs down by 2. And it looks like that's going to be it for Jenkins, as Jenkins is going to come out of the game down by 2 now. And it looks like they're going to have Cleo James is going to come in the pinch hit in the pitcher spot. He pinch hit in the actual game. So Cleo James, 298 on base percentage, 324 slugging against Chris Short, who's in for his 7th inning of work. So he has the windup in the pitch. And that's going to be a ball. And he strikes him out. So Short finding new life here. Records his 3rd strikeout. He's walked 6 batters. So Kessinger up there now. Kessinger 1 for 2 with a walk. Had a 2-run single. Grounds out to second. So 2 up and 2 down in the Chicago 7th. Brings up Beckert. Beckert 1 for 3 on the day. Grounds out to second also. And that'll do it as the Cubs go in order in the 7th. So we head to the home half of the 7th. 7th inning stretch time here at Connie Mack Stadium. And It's 5-3 Phillies. And that's going to be it. See, they got to replace James here as a pinch hitter. And it's going to be, who did I say? Phil Regan. Phil Regan will come in for the Cubs. All right. So Denny Doyle, 2 for 3 on the day. Steps into the box. He'll face Doyle, Heisel, and Johnson here in the Phillies' home half of the 7th. Phillies up by 2. And that's a ground out back to Regan. Over to first for out number 1. Larry Heisel, 0 for 2 with a walk. And he'll pop out to third. In fair territory, makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down in the Phillies' 7th. Darren Johnson hit a 2-run homer his last time up, giving the Phillies the lead. And takes a strike. And it'll be a base hit for Johnson. So a 2-out single. Brings up Briggs, who homered his last time up. 1 for 3 on the day, a solo home run. And he'll ground out back to the pitcher to end the inning. So we head to the 8th with the Cubs trailing by 2. Short back on the hill. Billy Williams up to the plate now. Williams 0 for 3 on the day. Error check. Oh, it's going to be an error. And it's going to be an E6, so an error on the shortstop. Boa. So Boa boots it, and Williams is on. He'll be being held on at first by Johnson. Ron Santo up to the plate now. Santo 1 for 3 on the day. And that's going to be a base hit. Williams will move to third, so run is at the corners. And see if Philly goes to the pen yet. Wilson and looks like Joe Horner is going to start loosening the closer. So McCarver will go to the hill to try to buy some time for Horner, who just started loosening. So runners at the corners for the dangerous Ernie Banks. Banks could put the Cubs in the lead with the 1 swing of the bat. Sure, it's got to be careful with him. Here's the windup and the pitch. It's going to be a base hit. So that will score 1 run. And that is going to be it for Short. It's now a 5-4 game. And we're going to restrict, actually. Probably got to do these again because I'm changing the pitcher. But all right, so that's going to be it for Chris Short. It looks like Joe Horner. Well, he did get a save in the next game, so we'll bring him in for this one. Not sure if he's the actual closer. Let's check and see if he's the actual closer. Yeah, I think he was. He had 98 saves in his career. And he had 9 saves, so I would say he was one of the closers anyway. Maybe a closer by committee thing. Who knows? So Joe Horner comes in. Try to get out of the jam here. Yeah, it did stay on the restrictions on Banks being the slow runner. So 1-run game now. Nobody out still. Santo representing the tying run on second. Banks the go-ahead run at third. Johnny Callison is 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. That was against Short, obviously. So here's the windup and the pitch. Lefty on lefty. Big strikeout there. Big strikeout for Horner. So Jim Hickman He's walked twice and hit into a double play. Phillies could use the double play now. So Banks, again, will be restricted. Okay. So Horner looks in for the sign, looks at the runners. He has the windup in the pitch. Ooh, a 14. That's a ball. I got to do this again. All right, so pitch to Hickman back in the box. Another ball. Oh, my God. This is a pain right here. Probably a better way to do this, but. So 2-0. Hitters count to Hickman. Here's the windup in the pitch. And a soft line drive to the second baseman. Runners will hold. So 2 down now. J.C. Martin comes to the plate. Martin's 0 for 3 on the day. Did reach on an error. Got an RBI. So lefty on lefty. Here's the windup in the pitch. And he'll foul out to the catcher, McCarver, to end the inning. So the Cubs do score 1, but it remains a 1-run game, 5-4, as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Phil Regan back on the hill for the Cubs, trying to keep this a 1-run game. Taylor, McCarver, and Money up for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the windup in the pitch. Strikeout, so good start if you're a Cubs fan. Strikes out the first batter. McCarver up to the plate now. McCarver is 2 for 3 with a home run and a solo home run and double. And he'll fly out to right for out number 2. So Regan lowered now to a D, but he'll stay in there against Money. Money 1 for 2 with a walk and a single. And Money will ground out to the first baseman. Regan covers, flips to Regan, and that will do it. So we head to the top of the 9th. Horner trying to close it out for the Phillies. He'll have to do it against the pitcher's spot. So obviously we're going to pinch hit for Horner. So let's see who the Cubs have on the bench. Rudolph, Popovich. That was in tomorrow's game. Cleo James already came in. Boots Day was a pinch runner. So let's take a look here. Who did I say? Popovich? Joe Pepitone was on the Phillies. Cubs. Interesting. So I think we're going to bring in Popovich to pinch hit for Regan. So he's a switch hitter, so that makes sense. Okay. All right, so Joe Horner trying to get the save here. Popovich with a .324 on base percentage, .355 slugging. Grounds out to third for out number 1. That'll bring up Don Kessinger. Kessinger 1 for 3 on the day. Has 2 RBIs on the day. And he'll draw the walk, so tying runners on first with 1 down for Glenn Beckert. Beckert 1 for 4 on the day. Kessinger being held on at first. Here's the windup in the pitch to Beckert. And that's going to be a fielder's choice as they get the lead runner at second. So Beckert now at first with 2 down for Billy Williams, lefty on lefty here. Williams 0 for hitless on the day, but he'll stay in there. His manager trusts him. Here we go. Hunter looks in for the sign, looks at the runner, kicks and delivers. Oh no! And he makes a mistake pitch, and the Cubs will take the lead now 6-5. Ouch. So the Cubs come from behind here, down to their last strike there, And Billy Williams delivers with a 2-run blast to put the Cubs up 6-5. Oh my goodness. So Horner shakes his head. Oh my God, couldn't believe that one. So Ron Santo to the plate now, 2 for 4 on the day. He grounds out. And the Cubs, who were down to their last strike, their last out, Billy Williams' 2-run homer puts them ahead 6-5. So the Phillies up there now. And the Phillies will scramble to see who they're going to bring in now. Oh my goodness. Phillies cannot believe it. So the Cubs. Oops. Oh my goodness. So the Cubs will bring in. Oh, that Phil Regan was their closer. Whoops. Jim Coburn. Jim Coburn. Will come in. Jim Coburn. Yeah. He had 4 saves on the season. So Coburn will try to close it out. He'll face Joe Horner. He can't face Joe Horner. Oh my goodness. So they're going to bring in. Who are they going to bring in for a pinch hitter? Byron Brown? Yeah. They'll bring in Byron Brown. He'll come in the pinch hit. Brown with a 327. On base percentage, 437 slugging. He'll come in the pinch hit in the pitcher's position. So Coburn looks in for the sign. Here's the windup in the pitch. Grounds out to short for out number 1. Top of the order, Bower up there now. Bower 2 for 4 on the day. Couple of RBIs. Couple of runs scored. No, RBIs. Or runs scored, I'm sorry. I always get those mixed up. So it's a single. So a 1-out single. Tying run is on first. Denny Doyle up to the plate now. Doyle 2 for 4 on the day with a double. Yeah, and an RBI. So yeah, a double. And that's going to be a ground out to third. Bo will hold at second. Bo will move up to second, sorry. So the field is choice. 2 down now. Runners in scoring position. So it's up to Larry Heisel, who's 0 for 3 on the day. His manager will stick with him. Here's the windup in the pitch to Heisel. That's going to be a base hit. Oh, they're going to hold Bo at third as he didn't get a good jump there. He stumbled, or the ball doesn't go out of the infield. So runners at the corners now. High drama here in Philly. Philly faithful on their feet here at Connie Mack Stadium. It'll be up to Darren Johnson, who's already homered today. He's 2 for 4. As Martin will go out to talk to Coburn on the hill. Goes back behind the plate. Looks at the runners. Kicks and delivers. And it's going to be a double. And 2 runs will come around to score. And miraculously, just like that, the Phillies will score 2 of their own and have a walk-off victory there. Wow, what an exciting game. I'm glad I recorded this one. So we'll be back. I got to head to church now for prayer, but we're going to back with the wrap-up after that. Wow. So we'll be back. So wow, what an exciting finish as the Phillies are able to walk it off after the Cubs thought they were going to spoil the win for the Phillies with 2 runs of their own in the top of the 9th. But the Phillies come back to beat the Cubs 7-6 in a thrilling finish here at Connie Mack Stadium. Connie Mack Park, sorry. Excuse me. Anyway, so let's take a look at Darren Johnson's able to deliver a 2-run double in the bottom of the 9th, and the Phillies will walk it off. So let's save it so we don't lose this gem. At least if you're a Phillies fan anyway. All right. So 1970. 4-7. So both starting pitches will not take part in the finish. So 7-6. Phillies. So we get a bunch of blown saves here. It looks, well, a couple of blown saves here, it looks like. So let's see here. All right, so let's take a look here. So it looks like, oh boy. So Jenkins went through 6. So it was 5-3 Phillies. So Reagan doesn't get a hold for that. Nope. Let's see here. Joe Horner. Joe Horner went 2. So it was after 7. It was 5-3. So Joe Horner is going to get a blown save. Yeah, because he let up those 2. He's responsible for those 2 runs in the top of the 9th. It was a save situation. So Joe Horner is going to get a blown save, but he will get the victory. And Jim Coburn gets the loss. And that's also a blown save. Yeah, because he was up 6-5. He came in, he let up 2 runs. Yeah, so he was going for a save. Yeah, so 2 blown saves in the game. But the Phillies are able to come back and at least give Horner the victory after his blown save. So kind of an odd thing there, but yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the box score here. So for the pitching, Chris Short for the Phillies went 7 innings, allowing 5 hits, 4 runs. Only one of them was earned. 6 walks. That was his Achilles heel there. 6 walks and 3 strikeouts, facing 32 batters. Joe Horner does get the blown save, allowing the 2 runs in the top of the 9th to the Cubs. However, is able to get the victory after the Phillies come back in the bottom of the 9th. He pitched 2 innings, allowing just 1 hit, 2 runs, both of them earned, walked a batter, struck out 1, and gave up that 2-run homer to Billy Williams, who for a moment delighted the Cubs dugout and their fans. However, that was short-lived as the Phillies, like I said, the Phillies come back. So the hero for the Phillies is going to be Darren Johnson, who went 3 for 5 with a run scored, a double, and a home run, knocking in 4. So Darren Johnson will be the player of the game. Larry Bowa was 3 for 5 with 3 runs scored. And Tim McCarver added a solo home run. And John Briggs had a home run himself, a solo home run. For the Cubs, so let's look at the Cubs pitching first. Fergie Jenkins pitched 6 innings. Started off well, but ended up giving up 9 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Allowed 3 home runs. That was his Achilles heel. Facing 28 batters. Phil Regan came in, pitched 2 scoreless innings, allowing a hit and got a strikeout, facing 7 batters. And Jim Coburn pitches just 2/3 of an inning, allowing 3 hits, 2 big runs on the 2-run homer by Darren Johnson. 2-run double, sorry. Not a home run there by Johnson. He did hit a home run in the game, but it wasn't off of Coburn. It was a double that did him in. So 2 earned runs. No walks, no strikeouts, facing 5 batters. All right, and so the Cubs, let's take a look at their hitting stars. Ron Santo had a couple of hits, including a double. Billy Williams thought he had the game-winning home run, but that gets negated. But he did hit a home run, so going 1 for 5 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. And not too much else other than the Cubs, as the Cubs managed just 6 hits on the day. So that's it. So a thriller in Philly. So I'm glad I recorded this one. This ended up being a gem. You never know when it's going to be a exciting game, and this one definitely wasn't the starting pitching that made this exciting. It was the way it finished. So it's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming, and this has been another National Pastime 3 baseball game for the 1970 season. And this will definitely be the last game that I will record on April 7th. Unless I change my mind again, but we'll see. But if not, I'll see you in another game for the 1970 season. So take care and God bless, and have a good night. Bye-bye now.